they are losing it over in the mainstream media. They are losing it in Democrat circles because of the story that's right above my left shoulder. Appeals court lifts block on Trump's Oregon troop deployment. Deployment can now move forward in Oregon under a preliminary ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. Now, the Ninth Circuit was traditionally super lefty, you know, like out there in San Francisco, what you would expect. But Donald Trump has managed to make a couple of appointments on that court. And so it's become more, how do I say, grounded, sensible, less, you know, pie in the sky, lefty nonsense. And so the Ninth Circuit just came through and they said, you know what? Portland is under siege. Donald Trump has the right to go in there with the National Guard, because if a state can't protect its people, if it can't enforce the law, in this case, you know, some of the immigration challenges and issues, then guess what? The federal government has the right to do that. So this is a big win for Trump. And it's almost like he knew this was coming. He knew this was coming because he's been picking on Illinois nonstop, as he should, because Pritzker is being a complete, well, that's too easy. We'll go with jerk. All right? Pritzker's being a jerk, and Brandon Johnson is like, I don't want your help. I don't want your help. We can do this just fine. Like, clearly you guys can't. You look at the murder rate in Chicago. I mean, how's that fair? Growing up on the south side of Chicago, you think any kid has a fair shot at anything, given the crime that's so rampant there? So Donald Trump's offering to help you guys out like he helped out in D.C.? He's got a solution for you. He wants to actually spend money on you, and you turn it away? Well, he's not taking that for an answer. He's taking it all the way to the Supreme Court, and San Francisco is next.
But the governor, who got thrown out of his business by his family because he's a dope,
that would be
the governor, Pritzker, he doesn't want us in. You know, if I were him, if I were a Democrat and I were him, I'd say, come on in. What do you have to lose?
And you're going to go to San Francisco next.
We're going to go to San Francisco. The difference is I think they want us in San Francisco. San Francisco was truly one of the great cities of the world. And then 15 years ago, it went wrong. It went woke. Remember my statement? Anything woke is, and then I used a filthy, well, broke is another word. I used a filthy word, but I took enough heat on that. I won't say it again. But
what is that word?
Nothing changes, right?
Okay, I'm not going to, I don't need you guys saying bad words in my commentary, but I have to think about that. I said, go woke, go broke. I'm not sure what he means, but anyway.
But we're going to go to San Francisco, and we're going to make it great. We're going to make it great. It'll be great. Again, San Francisco is a great city. It won't be great if it keeps going like this.
Aha. No, he's totally right. It won't be great if it keeps, I mean, if you go to Market Street, it's awful. I mean, I can't actually, I even debated showing you the video, but YouTube gets a little funny about this. Sometimes they don't really like some of this video. But just imagine sort of the zombie people, and you know why they're like that. And so this is like being traced back to Honduras drug gangs that are coming through Venezuela. So when you look at what the Pentagon's doing, trying to take out the drug boats, like it all fits together, right? And Donald Trump, like, he cares about this very passionately, not just because it's political or it's good politics or good optics. Like, he really wants safe cities, and he really detests drugs, and he detests alcohol, right? Because of what it did to his brother. So he's a teetotaler, and he really doesn't like what these things have done to our nation. And he was one of the first to kind of put this first front and center. And now he's back for 2.0, and he's going to do everything he can to clean up everything he can. I love this. Did you guys see Dan Bongino? I want to show you. If you've seen it before, watch it again, because Dan is so good at walking you through the steps that they are taking as he describes how the president got them together. He's like, hey, Dan, hey, Cash, come on in. We need to fix this. Okay, guys, go do your thing. And they got together a supreme group of individuals that were able to analyze just exactly what the best routes to fighting crimes in these cities. And look at, they're having success. You can't argue with success. Here's Dan.
With regards to this crush and violent crime, whether it's in San Francisco, Chicago, any other major city, early on, this is kind of the untold story of this op. I get appointed, announced in February, come in March. Cash is there a little bit earlier. President brings us in early, and in essence, this is kind of the behind the scenes, guys. He says to us, You know, listen, I'm a builder. I'm in a lot of these big cities. He has just zero tolerance for violent crime. He just does. He drives around Washington, D.C. on these OTRs, off the record movements. He sees homelessness, crime. He can't stand it. He says, what do we got to do to fix this? And we basically lay out a bunch of things. And his answer is very simple. President's like, go get them, boys. Go get them. That was it. Like, you do what you have to do. So we got in there, Cash and I, and we brought in the best SACs, special agents in charge across the country, guys who had forgotten more about crime and enforcing it than most people ever know. They've done this their whole lives. One of them we pulled in from Phoenix. He had an amazing job out there. We said, hey, his name's Joe. I said, Joe, you tell me what we need to do to go get these demon savages off the street. Tell me what we need to do.
Demon savages.
We brought in a violent crime roundtable of the best crim agents in the country. We figured out a battle plan, how to kind of water balloon. You know, when you squeeze a water balloon, you get a bulge. How do we bulge agents here and then bulge agents there? And we cleaned up at the president's direction, the director and I, with the SACs and the agents in the field, we water ballooned around the country.
I love Dan. Okay.
Demon savages off the street.
I love him. The water balloon around the country. I mean, I like his descriptions. I like him as a person, as a friend, and certainly as a podcaster. Certainly at the FBI, I miss his show, though, full disclosure, because of things like that, when he talks about, you know, the water ballooning. But he's very serious about this. And, you know, I still talk to him from time to time, and he's committed. I will tell you this. You know what, Dan? He's not making any money doing this, and he was making a lot of money on his show. He had one of the top podcasts in America, and he gave it all up. Because he's a patriot that cares about this country.
Crim agents in the country. We figured out a battle plan, how to kind of water balloon. You know, when you squeeze a water balloon, you get a bulge. How do we bulge agents here and then bulge agents there? And we cleaned up at the president's direction, the director and I, with the SACs and the agents in the field, we water ballooned around the country and made, get a load of this, guys. This is going to trip you out. 28,000 violent crime arrests in 2025, and the year's not even over. You say, oh, what does that mean? Put it in comparison. Prior 3-4 years, the FBI under prior leadership had averaged about 16,000. We're at 28,000. 28,000. We're not even done with the year. We haven't even hit Thanksgiving or Christmas yet. Shows you when you get a president, an attorney general, a deputy attorney general, and an FBI leadership team that lets the FBI do FBI work instead of getting into other nonsense in the past. Look what happens. Your cities get cleaner.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. And just to add to that, let's be clear. What was the FBI doing before? A lot of work that it shouldn't have been involved in. I mean, including going after people who were parents showing up at school board meetings or going after Catholics that attended Mass in Latin. I mean, it was crazy stuff. But that all goes back to Operation Arctic Frost, right? In the meantime, let me see if I can show you what Molly Hemingway was saying on one of my former networks with my former colleague, Stuart Varney, great guy. She's making the point that, you know what, a lot has been accomplished. And to Dan's point about the 28,000 arrests, she's also pointing out the number of people that have been deported because they've been forced to be deported or they voluntarily deported themselves, but that it's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I mean, as wonderful as this is, like we need to be realists about it too. Let's go to her.
Now take a look at this. More than 515,000 illegal migrants have been deported since Trump's inauguration. 1.6 million have voluntarily self-deported. Another 485,000 have been arrested. Molly Hemingway with me this morning. This is exactly what Trump promised on the campaign trail. I simply didn't realize, Molly, that the numbers were so big so fast. What say you?
Well, they are big, but it is also worth remembering that under the Biden administration, each year, 2 to 3 million people were coming here illegally. And so they're good numbers, but it's still only a dent in what has been done to the country because of having an open border during the Biden administration. But yes, it's a good start.
I mean, it's an important thing to remember. 2 to 3 million. Like, what the heck was going on? Well, we know what was going on. And I hate to be so crass and so political about it, but they saw it as an opportunity. I mean, when you look at New York State trying to make sure that illegals or people who were not in this country with any legal status could vote in school board elections, you saw the same thing going on in Oakland, California. In the case of New York, they actually were going to allow for 800,000 people to be able to vote in some of these local elections. And what happened was it went all the way to the appellate court in New York and they struck it down. But you can see a pattern of behavior where they were like, okay, just get them in, give them this, that, and the other. Let them eat cake, as Marie Antoinette would say, or as Nancy Pelosi would say, let them eat ice cream. Remember that infamous scene when she was pulling up her freezer with like the Talenti or the Haagen-Dazs? I don't know. It's like $8 a container for the ice cream. Just hunker down at home. Eat your super expensive ice cream. There's this feeling that you could just keep bringing people here and that they would then be therefore grateful to the Democrat Party and that they would then be able to have more votes. They also were looking at basically the redistricting efforts and the gerrymandering that they've engaged in before. And if you have that many more people in your district, even if they're not there legally, they were arguing that they could get more representation in Congress. So there was a method to the madness, and it was horribly political and really, truly awful. And now, they're having to pay the price. They're having to pay the price because Americans woke up and said, we don't want any of that. We're done with it.